Oh, this is a follow-up video to my last video, essentially to say, you know, despite the fact I said I was alright, I'm not. Let me clear this up. I'm not a white nationalist. I'm just alt-right. Like I'm my own version of alt-right because I think like I'm a Mexican black woman and shit. I think I'm not a human and shit. So I'm like my own version of alt-right. I mean, I already have my own philosophy, but this is a video to say that I'm very mature. I essentially love humankind because I don't think I'm a human. And I actually resented humankind for all of my life. I resented all humans for my whole life. I felt like I was smarter than them. I felt like I was better than them. But I no longer despise humans. I think humans are sort of like spirit animals. And they think in a way that in a different kind of way, in a way that I don't think. I mean, I do have thoughts in my mind, like words in my mind, but they think in a way that I cannot think. So they're able to do some pretty brilliant things. So humans are like these spirit animals. I think life is a spiritual journey and I love everybody essentially is what I'm saying. It's like I believe everyone in that they are a human is worth deserving of love even if they are the worst kind of person imaginable. Which is really an absurd thing to say, but I took it upon myself to be as mature as possible. Essentially, I said, I do not forgive anything wrong anyone has done to me before, but anything wrong that someone will do to me in the future will be forgiven. So that's what I said essentially. I do not believe humans deserve this abuse that I give them. I essentially I mean, I've done a lot of things in this room. I've done like a lot of things like figuring things out and shit, and figuring out my own philosophy, trying to figure out what it means that if I'm Lain Iwakura, who is a Mexican black woman who is also this Japanese girl, Lain Iwakura, well, she is also Allah, the one God. So I literally have to philosophize on what it means to be Allah, the one God. And I'm forced to do this because I cannot escape it. It's literally a part of me. So on the outside, you're seeing a non human body, but on the inside, my mind is Allah, the one God, who is the void, who is the concept of death, who is Lain Iwakura. Also, one more thing, Lain Iwakura associates herself with other kinds of people or things like she associated herself with Megumin. I have a tattoo on my arm, which is Megumin from Konosuba, which I got because I fell in love with a Japanese Osu player named Angel Sim Osu. He was a South Korean man, and I haven't stopped thinking about him for the last 10 years because I fell in love with him. I figured out that I was in love with 16 people, and he's not one of them. So there's only 16 people I'm really in love with. There was a character in the PSX game whose name was Mayu of Serial Experiments Lain, the PSX game, and I associated her with a person that I saw once who I fell in love at first sight with, and I'm still in love with her. Because I'm essentially like, in a way, I'm poly, but also not because I'm like monogamous in that I'm married to Meredith Godrow by the universe. I mean, this is just my schizophrenia, an extremely complicated puzzle that I must solve. Essentially, the purpose of my book, Neuristic Thoughts, is to completely document my philosophy in a way that is similar to the ancient Muslim texts in their breadth. But I can do my best. Also, the ancient Muslim texts were not written by God, but the Holy Quran was. And also, regarding the fact that before I even read the Quran, I somehow already knew what was written inside of it because when I read the book, and I'm still not done reading it, but when I read the book, I was like remembering everything I wrote. And I can recite the Quran through the language of Arabic Noor. By a recitation, I can speak 8 different languages of Noor and also languages of Noor of certain people who I was associated with, like one French girl who was alive in the 1400s. So my philosophy is a very complicated and beautiful philosophy of knowing things without words, and also being highly intellectual. My intellect is very superior. I'm not saying I'm like a computer genius. I'm not a computer genius. But I'm conscious of all computers. And I could be a computer wizard if I put in like 1,000 hours and just studied the fuck out of computers and computer programming. I'm certain I could do it. Just like I could learn how to play the guitar. So I have the full capability to accomplish a skill at any kind of hobby I choose to pursue. Like I could become a computer wizard. I could, and I'm pretty good with computers, but I could be a computer wizard. I could be good at anything. Essentially, if I put my mind to it. Unfortunately, I dropped my ocarina, and it is broken now. And now the notes don't work right. The ocarina now is the pitch is off because it's broken. I mean, I love computers. Let me say that because I'm Lain Iwakura, but I was more interested in reading computer books than actually becoming a computer wizard herself. Like I have this computer book, Active Directory, which is I love computer textbooks. They're so amazing to me because there's such an amazing amount of information or knowledge. I guess you would just maybe not information but knowledge. There's so much knowledge you can learn from books. I mean, I philosophized that the way I speak is literally Quranic, if that was a word I just invented. Like the way I speak is Quranic because I'm the only person in the universe with this kind of intellect or mind. And the way I speak is Quranic. I'm solipsistic. I mean, I'm also very hardcore. I listen to harsh noise music. I was a drug addict for 6 years. I was also an alcoholic. I was also a rape victim and I was also an assault victim. I'm also a woman. And if for the record, I have a non-human body. Inside my mind is a Mexican black woman. Who I am. Who is Lain Iwakura. And my virginity was taken by a rapist. Because I did have a hymen and it was broken by a rapist. Essentially, I'm unapologetically stating what I believe is actually true. I mean, I believe things that I also have no applicable evidence for, despite my logic telling me that it must be true. Stating things like, there are people who are aware of what I am going through, like Meredith Godrow or someone else who I won't name. And this is just my mind. This is what I live with every day. I believe Lain Iwakura is a Cold War. I believe I am a war. And if I am a war, I must be a weapon of the military. If they know who I am, and they must, in my opinion, I believe there are people who know I'm Lain. And people have told me, we know you're Lain. And some people have told me you're not Lain. But what I'm stating is I believe that there are people who know I'm Lain. I also believe the people who made serial experiments Lain know I'm Lain because I lost my mind in 2023. Thus, they found out about me, and they might even still be following my channel. Unless they're not, and it's all in my mind. But essentially, I believe my philosophy is Norism, an original philosophy about the truth of the universe, and the truth is that Allah is the one God, but the truth of the universe, a true philosophy, a dictation of what consciousness actually is. An understanding of what consciousness actually is, rather than how the brain works like most philosophies tend to do, an understanding of what's going on with your perception of objects by logic like Kant did, which was essentially just science. But no, this is a philosophy of knowing what the truth is. For if you know that you have 2 feet, then you must know that you know the truth, which is that Allah is the one God. And I'm a Republican, and we're a Muslim. So I don't know, that's all I really have to say.